All right, Alexis, what is it you want to learn about today?
I want to learn more about that evil thing we saw on that X-Files episode.
You talking about the giant trash monster that was killing people?
No. I'm talking about the Homeowners Association.
Ah, the Homeowners Association. Yes, truly vile and evil creation. So, yeah, if you're not following along, so I have been introducing Alexis to all of the great media from my younger days, which includes the X-Files. And we watched this episode. The episode's called Arcadia. And here's a clip from it. I had it preloaded because I looked some of this up last night. And I didn't want y'all to have to watch ads.
Bring it on.
In this episode, Mulder and Scully are undercover as homeowners in a tightly controlled community where there's been a series of odd disappearances. And this is actually Alexis's favorite part of the show. You want to tell them why?
I like how he's sort of trying to fight back through stupid stuff like lawn flamingos. I personally would have put a lot more out, though.
Well, you would have,
I probably would have gone closer to vandalism.
Yeah, well, we get a little bit of vandalism here. I believe you actually suggested flocking one of the other...
One of the other houses put a ton of lawn flamingos.
Yeah. And then the coup de grace.
Yep.
So the episode is about a homeowners association, and the twist, the X-Files twist of this homeowners association, is they have I think they were calling it a Tolka.
It's like a golem.
It's like a golem. They basically have a trash golem because the housing addition is built on a former landfill. They have a trash golem that goes around and kills people that breaks the rules. And so it's an interesting sort of conversation to have because homeowners associations in their they are not necessarily terrible entities in and of themselves. So, in fact, we actually know people who are part of homeowners associations. Did you know that?
No.
So, the idea of the homeowners association, of course, it seems like a terrible idea to me because you are essentially contractually obligating yourself to an additional layer of what amounts to government to oversee your home. But the idea is that they can provide services that are either at a higher level or unavailable from your local municipality. And if you look at the research, they actually increase the value of homes.
Really?
Yes, people pay more to be subjected to this kind of stuff. So, for example, we know, Clay and Terry.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they still do, but at one point in time, they were part of a homeowners association, and Clay was actually doing a lot of work for the homeowners association because they live in a neighborhood that's outside of town. It's a rural sort of addition, and that means that a lot of the things that the municipality and your municipal taxes would normally cover aren't available. And so the road into this little addition is maintained by a homeowners association. And so you pay dues. If you're charitable, you would call them dues. If you're not charitable, you would consider them additional taxes that you pay. But essentially, you pay money for this particular service here, for the the road that connects the homes together into a little neighborhood, because it's not in a municipality, and that's the kind of service that the municipality would usually offer. So one of the other things that homeowners associations will commonly do is, if you have a historic district. So I knew some people, they lived in sort of a historic home in Oklahoma City, and so the idea behind that particular homeowners association and all the structures built around it was to preserve the historic quality of the homes in that area. So there were regulations like, if you redid the windows, you had to go back in with wood windows. You couldn't use metal or any synthetic material. You couldn't do any additions that changed the architectural character of the home. I think they all had to have wood shingle roofs, or wood tile, wood shingle roofs. And I think there was a selection of colors that you were allowed to paint in, but it was to preserve the historic quality of those homes.
I feel like these houses would be haunted.
It's possible. They're, if nothing else, haunted by the ghost of, overburdening regulation and busybodies. And so one of the other ones, you remember Drew?
Yeah.
So I haven't talked to Drew in a while, but I'm pretty sure he lives in a neighborhood that has a homeowners association. And part of the dues that they pay for fund sort of community group building. So you have a neighborhood, and they have like a community center kind of in the middle, and I think it even has a pool. And so the dues that you pay go towards the upkeep of the community center and the swimming pool. And so you have a neighborhood swimming pool. It's a little more private than like the public pool, but similar idea. And if you're a member of that homeowners association, you have your dues all up, then you can go and participate. You can use the communal building or the community building. You can swim at the pool. You do stuff like that.
You want me to pay to be around people?
Well, some people would like it. When you were younger, you would have liked it. There would have been other kids to play with and stuff.
Yeah, I probably would.
So that's sort of the character of what some of them are, and they're based on. So do you remember what they kept talking to over and over? What they would always make reference to in the episode? Well, this isn't in the CC&Rs.
Oh yeah.
So it's covenants, conditions, and restrictions, I believe, is what that abbreviation is for.
Yeah, I remember that.
Here, we can look it up later, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And basically what it is that they're rules. So these homeowners associations are actually set up as an organization. And a lot of times they're incorporated as a nonprofit organization. And the membership, the organization, and the contracts are all tied to the homes. And a lot of times it's set up by the developer when they're building the homes. And all of the rules and regulations are tied to the land themselves, right? So you have to participate in the homeowners association to buy the home, which means you subscribe to whatever the covenants of that organization are. And a lot of times each house will get a vote, and you will elect leadership. So there'll be like a president or a head of the group, and there'll be a small board, and they'll make decisions, and they're supposed to be good stewards of the money that comes in, and they help settle a lot of the stuff. What you will see, depending on the way it's set up, is that there will be there'll be rules that they can get extraordinarily intrusive and abusive, kind of like we were seeing in the episode.
It's like they legit couldn't have their mailbox the wrong color of tan or something.
That's right. So it was very consistent, very sort of fit in kind of rules. And you can just go on Facebook. Here, hold on. You can search for it. A lot of times it'll pop up just sort of as I'm scrolling through. But you'll see there's stories or images of people fighting their homeowners association. So, like, your trash cans aren't supposed to be visible from the street. You have to have some place to store your trash cans.
Literally throws trash cans into street.
Or one of them I saw, the guy, his your air conditioning unit is not supposed to be visible from the street. And so he constructed a small fence made out of 5 fencing planks. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. All right, so where was I? Oh, yeah. So he built a little fence out of 5 planks, 5 fence pickets, to help cover up his outdoor air conditioning coils, so that they couldn't be visible from the street. And he built them in that formation.
This guy was funny.
Right. Yes, it is intended to look like a middle finger. So, in a sense, and part of this has to do also with they're a strange sort of creation, because in a sense, it's possible for them to provide some good service. So the idea is that you can create a system that provides more sort of amenities and services and sort of quality of life for a small community. So if you had like a central park, not like the actual Central Park, but a park in the center of the neighborhood that had a community center, and maybe maybe a pool that was open to members, or they put on events, something like that, right? That's providing value to the people that are members. Or if in like one of our examples, if you're providing services that you can't get normally because you're outside the normal incorporated municipality, right? So you've got better streets or streets at all, then it's providing something that's of value, and you can look at that and you can say, okay, so that's doing some good. Even though I would never buy a home in a historic district that had a homeowners association with all those restrictions.
Yeah.
In a sense, it provides some value to those people. And the friends that I had that lived there, like, they would often complain about the different strictures that it put them under for the things they could do with their home. But at the end of the day, it was something that they were willing to deal with because they liked living in a historic home, and they agreed with the overall mission of the district was to preserve the historic character of the homes in that area. And in any of these, it is, in a sense, a choice. There are people who are engaging in these things voluntarily because going in, that this particular home may be part of a homeowners association, and you should be able to look at the governance and the different requirements that are going to be placed on you before that you make your purchase. So it is a choice. It is something that you're entering into of your free will and volition. So on the other hand, it's really easy to sympathize with people who are going to be fined for their grass not being cut a certain way, or Like I said, the coils for our air conditioning unit visible from the street. Our trash can visible from the street. Of course, we live kind of out in. We're very rural, and so people aren't really concerned about those things. And we've had many instances where our lawnmower was broke, or we were busy dealing with other things. Our grass got kind of high. And it was not uncommon for one of the neighbors to just buzz through the front yard, and cut down the grass whenever it was starting to look too high. So we're obviously not in a position where that kind of stuff is important. And I sympathize with people who are having to put up with that sort of overbearing, intrusive sort of nature. There are certain states where there is a lot of extensive law about your homeowners association, right? So
Yeah.
Florida and California, I think, have passed a lot of law about how exactly you can set them up. One thing that I feel like is a for sure negative that you can't get away with, or that you can't escape from, is that who is this important to? So your homeowners association should be governed by officers or board of some kind that you have a say in selecting if you're a member. But who wants to be a part of that?
The man with the landfill monster?
Well, of course, the man with the landfill monster. But who else? So do you think it's the people who are very laid back and want to leave people alone? Or do you think it's the people who want to be in everyone's business?
Probably the people who want to be in everyone's business.
Yes. Oh, so those are the kind of people who are the most likely to seek this kind of position. Who else would be likely to seek one of these positions? So this is something you probably, or go ahead.
Control freaks.
Control freaks. Well, that sort of falls on another one. And this is a concept that you may not be familiar with because you're not a homeowner yet. Mm-hmm. But people concerned with property values. And this is a really weird thing because most people, and I've heard them talk about it, people who are actually concerned about property values a lot of times don't even comprehend what property values are and how they are affected. But so we own this home.
Yeah.
And it has a certain value if we were to sell it. And a lot of people, that is their largest asset. It is where most of their non-liquid wealth is contained, is in the value of their home. Does that make sense?
A little.
It's the biggest, most expensive thing that you own.
Oh.
And it's the biggest, most expensive thing that you could take out a loan against, for example. So for a lot of people, the value of their home, they feel very strongly about it because they feel if the price of their home is going up, they feel like they're getting richer. Even people who aren't necessarily tapping, the term for that is called home equity, right? So if I buy a house at, like, say, $100,000, and over a few years the value of my home has gone up $20,000, and now it's a $120,000 house, I have an additional $20,000 in home equity. And some people will actually, if they didn't have to take out a loan to buy the home, they'll take out a loan, or they will sort of configure their current loan to try and get some of that equity and have it available in cash that they can spend.
You get cash for having a home?
Well, you get a loan. So you have to pay it back, but you can get some of the value of it up front.
Okay, I see.
For that difference. And so there's a lot of people, so whenever home price values are going up, they feel much richer, and when they're going down, they feel much poorer.
Well, you still have a house.
Yes, this is true. And in truth, your home values are affected by the neighborhood that you're in, but oftentimes it's not to the extent that that these people portray. So someone who's really highly invested in their home property values and their home equity, they're likely going to be the kind of person that's going to be on a homeowners association, and they're going to be the one that are going to be pressing a lot of these strange, intrusive regulations, because they feel like if everyone in the home or everybody in the neighborhood is maintaining their house up to a certain standard, their home equity value is going to go up, and they're going to be richer as a result.
If all the houses are the exact same to the point of the colors of the mailboxes, I don't know about you, but that would personally creep me out a little bit.
Well, so that's part of the catch. Most of the time, whenever you're going to go through and you're going to try and get one of these loans, the bank is going to insist on having it appraised by a professional, and that doesn't mean that, like I said, that these homes aren't going to have these different features aren't going to have some small impact on those values, but they're not going to have an impact on a professional appraisal. The only way that it makes a lot of difference is if there's a lot of turnover in the homes, because whenever a home sells, it kind of sets a certain level of value. So whatever someone pays for that house kind of becomes the house's new value for a while. And if it's in a neighborhood where maybe all the lawns aren't kept up and some of the houses look run down, in theory, it's going to drive down that price some, but and so if they were all kept up to a certain standard, those houses may sell quicker and they may sell at higher prices, and in theory, that's going to accrue benefits to people, but the connection is really tenuous for as much effort as some of these individuals will put into it.
Yeah.
So those are that's one of the reasons why I agree with you. I think it is kind of an evil, because I think it incentivizes people who are busybodies and want to be in everyone's business, or it incentivizes people who will draw even the most spurious connections to their own home property values and try and enforce these regulations because they feel like in some way it is enriching them, even if the logic doesn't always pan out, if that makes sense. So,
yeah.
But that is where the homeowners associations came from. A lot of times they're set up by so where we live, a lot of times your houses are built just sort of one at a time. Somebody gets a piece of property and they build a house, right, to the way that they want it. In a lot of other places, they're built in what's called an addition. And so there'll be several houses built at once. And so, like the construction that we drive by on the way to church,
Yeah.
that's what that is. That is, technically that addition's already there, but they're expanding. They're building several homes at the same time because they can build them cheaper that way. And they're building them up and then selling them off for profit. And like I said, the way that some of these homeowners associations are set up, you can actually create value for people. And so when that developer goes in and builds out an addition, they're going to go in and they're going to set up these homeowners associations for because they want to sell the houses for the maximum value as possible. Then sort of what happens from there is anybody's guess, but that's sort of where they came from. Some of them do provide good services. Some of them meet different appearance and historical nature. But yeah, we get humor like this because they're also known for having restrictive rules and crazy busybodies.
Yeah.
Enforcing all this stuff. So, do you have any questions?
Nope.
All right. Well, so I guess that'll wrap this particular bit up about evil trash golems and the greater evil of homeowners association. So, according to all the algorithms, what are we supposed to say at the end of these?
Like and subscribe.
Yes, and ring the bell, because that's what YouTube tells me to say. Ring the bell. All right. So, take it easy.